listened to pretty much any hip-hop or electronic music in the last 30 years, you definitely know the sound of the Akai Mpc, even if you don't know the name. It is the absolute heartbeat of countless hits. It's so much more than a machine, really. It's a legendary instrument that completely changed how music gets made. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and explore what makes this little box such a powerhouse, from the bedroom studio all the way to the main stage.
And yeah, this picture right here kind of says it all. The MPC is the brain of the whole operation, right? It's the central hub that connects everything from your mics to your keyboards. For decades, this one box has been the secret weapon for some of the world's most creative producers. So let's find out why.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to demystify the box itself. Then, we'll get our hands dirty and actually build a track from scratch. We'll also cover how to capture your own unique sounds, and then we'll show you how to take that creation from the studio and put it on stage. We'll wrap it all up with some killer advice straight from the pros.
Okay, let's dive right into section 1, the standalone beat machine. So, what exactly is this box with all the pads? Well, the easiest way to think about the Akai Mpc is as a complete recording studio packed into a single box. But the most important word there, the real magic word, is standalone. What that means is it has everything you need to create a finished song without ever having to look at a computer. And this quote from Music Radar just nails it. It perfectly captures the MPC's magic. It's this perfect middle ground, right? You get all the power of computer software, but you get the focused, hands-on freedom of hardware. And that means no email pop-ups, no social media notifications, no distractions. It's just you and the music. So that's the what. Now let's get into the how. Section 2 is all about building your very first track. Enough talk, it's time to make some music. You know, when you really boil it down, making a song on the MPC is a pretty straightforward process. You start by connecting your gear, you lay down a solid beat with those drum pads, then you add some musical elements like a melody, and finally, you bring in real-world sounds, maybe like vocals or guitar. Let's break that down a bit. And this shows that first step perfectly. See how the MPC acts as the command center? Over here, you've got an audio interface plugged in to handle mics and instruments, and on the other side, there's a MIDI keyboard ready for melodies and chords. Everything flows into and out of the MPC. It's the heart of the setup. Okay, now for the really fun part, programming drums. First, you load up a drum kit, which maps different sounds like kicks and snares to each of the pads. Then you just hit record and physically tap out a beat. But the real secret sauce here is the overdub function. This lets you keep layering new sounds, like adding hi-hats on top of your kick and snare, without ever erasing what you've already recorded. It's awesome. All right, so you've got your core beat, you've got a melody going, but what is it that makes a track truly unique and, well, yours? That's where section 3 comes in, capturing real-world sound. We're talking sampling and recording. This is how you bring the outside world right into your music. By connecting a microphone or an instrument through an audio interface, you can record basically anything. Vocals, a guitar riff, even just the sound of you shaking your keys. It gets captured directly into your project as its own audio track, ready to be mixed and messed with. And this brings us to the sampler, which is really the historic heart and soul of the MPC. This feature lets you record any sound, assign it to one of those pads, and then play it like it's an instrument. You can trigger it, you can chop it up, you can totally transform it. This one technique is the foundation of so many classic hip-hop beats. So you've used all these tools, you've built a killer track in the studio. But now what? How do you take all that energy to a live audience? That brings us right to section 4, from studio to stage. And this right here is why the MPC is an absolute beast for live performance. Just look at this diagram. It's packed with connectivity. You've got outputs for your speakers and your headphones, plus all these special connections to control both vintage and modern synthesizers. It can literally become the brain of your entire live rig. So you can see the MPC really has these two distinct personalities. In the studio, you're all about creation, right? Detailed editing, arranging different parts of your song, getting that mix just perfect. But on stage, it completely transforms. The focus shifts to pure performance, launching clips, playing live, and most importantly, providing that rock-solid reliability without the fear of a laptop crashing on you mid-set. To wrap things up, let's move on to our final section and check out a few essential tips from the pros. These are going to help you really master your MPC, especially when you're playing live. All right, here are some fantastic practical tips for performing. First, customize your pad sensitivity so the machine responds perfectly to your touch. The touchscreen has this amazing XY pad for adding dynamic, sweeping effects in real time.
And don't forget, you can map those Q-Link knobs to control your other synths, giving you hands-on control of your whole setup right from the MPC.
But listen, if you take away only one single tip from this whole thing, please make it this one. Before any live show, use the purge feature. This function scans your project and it literally removes any samples you aren't actually using from the active memory. This is absolutely critical for a stable, crash-free performance. And here's why that is so important. The MPC has 2 GB of RAM. Now, with the operating system itself taking up a good chunk of that, your available memory for samples is actually pretty limited. Purging all those unused sounds makes sure you have as much headroom as possible, keeping things running smoothly right when it matters most.
And there you have it. From its legendary history to its modern-day power, the MPC really is a complete studio in a box. It puts everything you could possibly need to make music right at your fingertips. So I guess the only question left is, what would you create?